Hey guys, Dirty Heathen here and welcome to my newest concept city, Petra. Petra is an underground city on a fictional planet called Alpha 045, and in the future us humans are here and we are mining the planet for element 155, which is a special element, rare element that's worth a lot of money back on Earth. With the surface of the planet being so volatile, building underground was really the only option, and they happened to find this magnificently 90% still intact ancient city. It looks very much like a human city, and with it being intact, it's pretty much shown that this is a relatively safe place to build, away from the dangers of the surface. So us humans have set up a city here in the future, hence the massive contrast between the sci-fi area and the ancient areas. So this allowed me to build a really crazy city. I mean, as you've seen with the opening scene there, it's really crazy. I mean, I've never seen anything like this, and it's been really fun to build. And yeah, I mean, it seems as though these crazy builds are sort of becoming my thing. That's not on purpose. These are just, I really enjoy building this way, and this was a heap of fun to build. There's about 70 hours in this all up, so it hasn't taken me as long as Atlas, for instance, but this one's been a lot of fun, and building on the ground has been relatively quick compared to how I've been building the last few episodes of Minos and Atlas, which have been difficult up in the air on networks. So this was a relatively quick build, and because of that it was even more enjoyable. So the whole idea for Petra came about. I wanted to build an underground city, but obviously a normal city's not going to work underground. I mean, maybe it would, but I don't see a normal city working underground with the roads and that sort of normal layout. And then when I started exploring the idea of having no roads, I sort of just pictured this ancient city for whatever reason, you know, with a river running through, a beautiful river with these ponds and stuff, and being underground allowed me to build it reasonably intact, you know, with just a couple of things broken here and there. But really cool. And the idea for the sci-fi bit came about just with progression from the story. I wanted a background story to go with the whole build, and the sci-fi part of the city was just completely born out of that. And you'll see similar architecture in the sci-fi area that you did see in Minos if you've watched that, and I guess that's just the way that I build. I think it looks really cool, hence why I've used it again here. And yeah, that's basically where this whole idea for this concept city's come from. So I'm really stoked with it. Like I said earlier, I think it's my favourite city so far. So I hope you guys are enjoying it and enjoy the rest of this video. So the first thing I did was go onto the Steam Workshop and pretty much find and download every stone asset at once I could find. But this seawall has the best stone texture. You'll see later on I put some lights and stuff around the place as well, and yeah, this has the best texture, especially underneath that lighting. I also wanted there to be lots of columns, parapets, and paths, different paths here and there, but I wanted the overriding factor to be simplicity. I wanted it really simple, not many props. Yeah, just the stonework sort of speaks for itself type of thing, and I'm glad that it was that way too, because that helped me make the building process a lot quicker. As you detailers would know, it takes a long time to detail anything, and this would have taken me probably 3 times as long if I was detailing everything, so quite happy not to. So you can see here I've used the layers function in procedural objects here to remove some of the buildings from view so I can put the roads in. So these roads function just like any other road in any other city, moving people around, but I've hidden them all with this one underground linking the two different sides. So even though the city looks like it is completely different, and I suppose it is. It still functions like a normal city in the background, which you'll see me set up here. Albert, a very horrible looking city. Like, you wouldn't want to see what I'm putting behind here. There's no form to it whatsoever. It's completely function, so it does the trick, and you don't see any of it, so I don't waste my time making it look pretty. But I've left it open here with the layers function so that you guys can see what's going on here and what I'm putting in here. And yeah, so water towers and some power are the first things on the agenda, and I've got some go-tos. I just use that freestanding water tower and connect that up. And also there's a cell phone tower. It looks like a cell phone tower that is a power station, which is handy. I just put one of those on each side of the river, and the rest of the power just spreads from house to house and works normally. So once they're set up, it's pretty smooth sailing. Just setting up some sewage, and I also set up a rubbish dump off camera outside of the city with another little secret road heading to that one. I didn't think that was worth seeing, and I didn't want the rubbish in the city, as it's still functioning as a normal city, or a relatively normal city. Detailing that I do is pretty much just to break up the larger areas in the city, just so they don't look so open and bland. And it's very simple detailing. There's nothing too fancy about it. Pretty much just decals, and here I'm making a second level, sort of like a balcony type of thing with a little fountain on it. And again, it's just to break up. This is the largest area, open area in the city, and it's just to make it look like there's a little bit more substance to it. It looked a little bit too open. I guess the good thing about only detailing here and there, it stands out a little bit more, if that makes any sense. Probably not, but yeah, the small areas that are detailed tend to stand out a little bit more than the rest of them. They all catch the eye, and yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I definitely haven't got that in Minos. It's just, everywhere's trying to grab your attention all at once, so it's nice, it's relaxed. It's a relaxed sort of a vibe in here, details wise, and I enjoy it. It's good. reasons I was really excited about building with the underground city here was this section here that sort of looks like it's floating out on the rocks, like a floating part, or it's cantilevered off a cliff type of thing. I had this picture in my head. I thought it'd look pretty cool. Originally I wanted to have a path cut into the rock leading around and up to it, but for whatever reason I haven't done that here. I guess it's because I've done it this way and didn't really feel the need for it. I couldn't see where it was going to fit in. Yeah, I don't know. I do want to do that in future though, so I might do something with that idea later on. But if you've seen Atlas, you'll notice this piece here. It'll look familiar. I really like the way the stairs sort of create a cool looking facade entry point. I guess on Minos it was more of a roof as well, whereas that doesn't really have too much function in an underground city, but I like the look of it. So here it is again, and just following the theme of the rest of the city with columns and stuff here, and still using the seawall, the stone seawall, which just looks so cool under the lights. You guys seen a little bit of that in the intro, but you'll see a bit more of that coming up shortly. And yeah, I'm really stoked with how this bit here come out. I wanted it just to look like stone buildings carved into the side of the cliff, you know, right up as far as the eye could see type of thing. And yeah, like I said, really stoked with it. Used this cool like castle ruin. It's got a really nice stone texture here, and the round sort of adds another dynamic to the city as well. It was sort of getting a little bit too square there with the seawalls, so the round buildings definitely bring something to the city visually, and I'm really pleased with them. And again, just keeping this really simple, using grey flames, amazing rocks everywhere. You can see that it's raining at the moment. I end up turning the rain off because it just comes straight through the roof. It just ruins the illusion straight away. There were a couple of other stone areas, including a pool and like a community area that I built off camera that you'll see soon, but that's pretty much it for the stone area. So the next area I build is the sci-fi area. So the idea with the sci-fi part of the city was to follow the same rule of thumb and keep it as simple as possible. There were a couple of things that I really wanted to do though, and that was to have the whole city suspended up in the air. I think that kind of made a little bit of sense to me as well, because you know, if the river ever flooded, for instance, or you know, maybe it's safer up in the air for whatever reason. So yeah, I sort of thought that might be potentially how we would build in the future anyway, so as well as it looking really cool. So basically it's just these pods here that I'm making out of various buildings with procedural objects, and I place them at various points along a path about 200 meters up in the air, and it creates this really cool like pod style suspended city. And I top it off by putting some wires in as well from building to building to make it look like there's power running between them, and all the paths up here work. There's people living up here. I hid buildings up here much like I've done in Minos, and the path comes up through the rock there in the back. You can't see where the path comes up because it's pretty shady and I don't want you to see it. But yeah, this again, there was very minimal detailing up here. I think the architecture and the way I've put it together really speaks for itself, and I don't think I needed to do too much. I'm so stoked with how this looks. It gives an amazing contrast against the rest of the stone part of the city, and yeah, just really pleased. I mean, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, I'm really interested to see what you guys think, because I make these cities for you guys. I want you guys to take inspiration from what I'm doing here. You might not necessarily build something as crazy as this, but for instance, you might get an idea to build a floating restaurant based off Atlas, or in your city, or there might be some inspiration or some small element even that you could take from it, and I'd be so pleased if you guys do that. So peace out guys, hope you've enjoyed it and be inspired, and I'll see you on the next one.